Put the kids to bed. It's myth-keeping time. Hello, and welcome back to Mythkeepers. We are your hosts. I am Zach, and joining me as always, he's purring and growling every other sentence. It is Scotty motherfucking Westside.
Dude, our guy is a growly boy.
He is a growly boy.
He is the growliest boy of them all. You know what else he is?
What is he?
He's also the sweatiest boy of them all.
Ooh,
we'll talk
he's
about
a
it more
sweaty
later.
boy.
But boy, does she describe him how sweaty he is. So much. Just so often. He's a growly, sweaty boy, but I'm here for it.
Hell yeah. Scott, what the hell are we doing here, bud?
We're talking A Court of Thorns and Roses. That's ACOTAR for all you filthy casuals out there. Chapters, what is this, 19 through 28? Yeah?
Yeah, 19 through 28.
Another 10 chappy chunk, as we like to say around here. I don't know why, but we do. We still do like to say it. We're about, I think, from what I could tell, at the end of this, we're probably a little, maybe over 2/3 of the way through the book. Close to.
Shit, are we really?
I think so.
I think it's like, I guess you're right. Yeah.
No, we're
There's
over
48
halfway.
chapters in total. So yeah, 24 chapters, and it would be. I mean, it's a little back heavy though.
Just judging by book thickness, I think we're roughly in the vicinity of 2/3 of the way.
You're
through.
A pretty good judge of the thickness, if you know what I'm saying.
the best judge of thickness. Oh, thickness.
The thickness.
Hey, before we jump in, why don't you hit us with them plugs? Because I'm bad at it.
Oh, the plugs. It's time for the plugs.
Hell yeah.
If you're on YouTube, first off, what the fuck is up, Kyle?
And soul. Did you call him Kyle? What's up, Kyle? I really hope someone named Kyle just randomly clicked on this video.
You can see all the plugs, but just in case you need help reading.
Shit, I went the wrong way. They're over there.
You can follow us on Instagram, here on YouTube, and on TikTok at Mythkeepers. You can also hang out with Scotty and I before the episode, every single release, where we talk about what we got going on in the week, what video games, anime, movies, whatever we're getting into. Share some recommendations, and sometimes we partake in a little game or two. Have a little bev. So yeah, if you guys want to go hang out with us, get access to that exclusive content, as well as some other exclusive kind of goodies that we're going to be sprinkling in there for you, you can go to the Patreon at patreon.com/mythkeepers, and you can go to our website, which is mythkeeperspod.com.
Bang.
It's pretty. It looks nice. We got some merch. We got hoodies. We got t-shirts. We got crop hoodies if you want to show your belly button off.
We got them
go do
hoodies.
That.
We got them
t-shirts. Go do the fucking thing. But man, I'm ready to talk about ACOTAR, bud.
Yeah.
We got a lot to talk about here, I feel like.
We do. As usual, we've probably bit off more than we can chew, but we'll get through this. Before we start, Zach, chapter 19.
Okay.
I have a note here that I have to say, because I thought about this like several weeks ago, but I apparently just kept forgetting to bring it up. And I was really hoping, I was like, please don't like prove my theory in the chapters before it happens, so I don't get credit for my theory.
Okay.
But thankfully it hasn't happened yet. So, okay. As I've been reading and thinking about this, you know what I came to realize? What's the name of our main character?
Feyre.
You know what that sounds like?
Faye.
My hot theory is that she's like
A descendant?
part fairy, like some kind of mix, breed, like maybe a long lost descendant of some kind of high
Hopefully not
fairy
of
line.
Tamlin.
Hopefully not of Tamlin. That would obviously make things very awkward. That would be a real
Game of Thrones story.
real
if you know
Game
what
of
I'm saying.
Thrones moment. Yeah. But no, yeah, that's my hottest, newest theory that I'm sure no one has ever thought of before.
Probably not.
There is a reason her name is that. That's what I'm gonna say. It's gonna either tie into like she's some prophesied something or other, or she's like part fairy. That's my hot prophecy.
Interesting. I mean, yeah, I've definitely thought like her name is oddly like it literally
Similar.
just says Fae in it.
Yeah.
But I think I've just like neglected to go down that way of thinking because it would just be too easy.
There's a lot
like
kind
that's
of
just
too easy
that's
in
just
this
that's
book.
just too easy. I mean, that's very true. Hey, by the way, speaking of that, since you are non-existent on the socials,
True.
we've had several listeners who have reached out to say basically that we're fucking idiots.
What did
that
we do?
this book was marketed as a retelling of Beauty and the Beast.
Oh,
So it's supposed to be that.
Is that
Like if that makes it
us,
better.
That's okay. Hold on. That doesn't make us idiots. Like,
No.
I knew nothing about this series, so obviously it was not marketed to me. Like, get
Right,
your
no,
marketing
I
in
know.
line. Market
I'm
that
just
shit
being
better.
a fuckhole.
Okay,
It's just
I know.
it's almost like I think people are thinking that we are giving it shit for being Beauty and the Beast.
I didn't want, and I knew it would come across that way, but I
Yeah.
wasn't trying to be that way. But yeah, like that's fine. Like, I say this all the time. This isn't exactly a 1-to-1 comparison, but tropes exist for a reason. Like,
Yeah.
people copy other people for a reason, because if it works, it works. Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Is that the line? Why did I just forget what that phrase is midway through?
Like Drake once said, it ain't about who did it first, it's about who did it better.
That's true. Did Drake say that?
Drake said that.
Boy, Drake is a wise man. I've never known this before.
Which I'm sure he probably took that from.
Nah.
But
I thought that was Jesus that said that, but turns out
I'm pretty
Drake.
sure it could have been Gandalf, though. Actually, could one of them.
I have one other theory. This is
Okay.
more just amusing than a theory that came to me.
Okay.
We know there was a traitor at some point into that other king guy, the bad guy on the island or whatever. I don't remember anyone's names.
Highburn.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? The fact that there was a traitor 50 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you think it's possible Tam was the traitor?
I think that it's too easy for us to like draw those conclusions because we have such a narrow view of the players in the game.
That's true. And that's not to put the cart before the horse, but that's kind of one of the problems right now.
But right. Yeah. I'm sure we're going to talk about it. But Tam's dad has always been like he was the High Lord. So, I mean, unless he was like some sort of like emissary or like if they do like fostering to some degree, like I can't see a reason why Tam would have been in Highburn. So I don't think that that's the case, but
you're probably right. And I think you're probably right that this is just a narrow view thing. But like Lucian is not part of the Spring Court and he's here. Like we know he was originally part of the Autumn Court. So crossovers do happen, although it does seem to be rare. But just a thought I had. I think you're probably right that it's our narrow scope right now, but just a thought I had.
Not a bad thought, though.
You want to start us off here with chapter 19? What's going on? Or was there any pre-thoughts you had before you wanted to get to?
No. Well, I'll save them for
Okay.
in the chapters.
All
I'll save
right.
them for in the chapters.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So chapter 19 starts off with Feyre
True.
getting her paints and supplies.
Uh-huh.
And Tamlin shows her the gallery. He says it's been a long time since someone was here that appreciated this kind of stuff, and he likes to see it used again. Yeah, I bet you do, Tamlin. You want to see her use those wooden brushes and canvases. There's an innuendo in there.
To make dirty in these chapters. I did not see that one coming.
Yeah, you want to watch her, Tamlin.
Yeah, she's so moved. Jesus. She's so moved she cries by these paintings. These paintings are like some otherworldly magic shit.
I do have something I do need to get out before the whole thing. Because I feel like this is almost like going to be a trigger warning for our listeners and viewers.
Okay, sure. I love to trigger.
I for some reason, Feyre wasn't doing it for me this batch. I felt pretty annoyed with her in several moments.
I felt pretty annoyed with a lot of things in this batch. I'm going to be honest. I've been mostly on board our first 2 episodes, but I think I started to get a little fatigue this section. Everything's
I'm starting to chafe.
Yeah, we'll get into this more, but
I'm more saying it now because it's like a hey, just so you guys know,
setting expectations.
I might have a little sour tone on some things.
Until the last 2 chapters, especially, and I did read the last 2 chapters on a separate night. So especially up until that point, I was like, things are like way too easy and perfect right now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like it's just their relationship and everything that's happening is just like so easy and so perfect and so magical. And it's just like, that's fine. I don't have anything against it, but it's just kind of boring at a point for me. And it started to
it's almost like this story wasn't written
probably
for us.
not for us. But that's fine. We're here. We're doing it. It started to bring me back in with the last couple, but I also still have problems there. But of course, we'll get into it. But I think it probably is a good thing that we're kind of setting that expectation, that tone here at the top, because listen, I'm not hating this book now all out of a sudden out of nowhere, but there will probably be a slightly more negative tone to this episode than I would say the first 2, if you've listened to those, which you should go listen to those. We're very happy about the book.
I'm curious as to like where we find these areas of frustration, because for those of you guys who may be new here or just didn't realize it, like Scott and I don't talk about any of this prior to recording. So we've been like very synced up. Our cycles are syncing up. And the last 2 episodes have both been pretty positive about everything. And again, without talking beforehand, and the same thing is happening now. So yeah, I'm curious as to kind of what exactly it was for you and if it's the same thing for me.
For sure. Well, let's keep going then. He keeps leaving. He has to go off like every couple days or every day to kind of like defend the lands. And she's worried about him. She says he never gave me details and I didn't presume to ask them, but his safe return was enough. So she's like, her ass is past the part where she just like is like against him and wants to go home. Like, or she's in deep at this point.
Yeah, and we start to get some like inner dialogue from Feyre that like she's beginning to in moments where she's very content. She's forgetting about home, and when she realizes that, she's upset with herself.
Yep.
And then she almost, and I don't love
Was
this.
this one of the moments you were annoyed with her?
Well, Yes, it was. This is the first time that it happened during this batch. She thinks that maybe Tamlin gave her these painting supplies and
As a
this art
distraction.
room as a way to shut her up. Her words, not mine.
Right.
Literally as a way to shut her up. And I'm like, come on. Like I think it's just the constant grappling.
Ask specifically for the paints? Like, that
She
wasn't
asked
his
for
idea.
this.
She asked for him,
dude.
right? She brought it up. It wasn't like him, hey, do you paint by any chance?
Hey, I got something that might keep you occupied.
Right. I mean, I suppose he asked her what she wanted. But, I mean, come on. You can't blame him. And to be fair to her, this did annoy me as well. But to be fair to her, I feel like this does pass pretty quickly. This sentiment that she has where she kind of gets...
But this specific thing passes, but her inability to be committed to, like, the idea of where she's at...
Sure, yes.
I think is a constant grapple up until the last, like, 2 chapters.
Right, then she flip-flops, Typical woman, am I right? I'm so dead for that one.
I fucking hate you so much, dude.
Roast me right now. I don't look at the socials. It's fine.
Oh my God.
I want to call out, she's still having these nightmares, and something in particular here I found interesting. The horrible pale woman ripping me to shreds, all watched over by a shadow I could never quite glimpse. So that's interesting. Obviously, dreams have tons of meaning and foreshadowing in fantasy stories. I assume this one is no different.
Of course.
It's to this point, it seemed like, and especially with information we get later, that the horrible pale woman is like the big bad. But this seems to imply that there's a shadowy overlord even above the pale woman. So I found that a little interesting.
I guess maybe we read it differently. So I read this on a different day. Like, I read the first 3 chapters a few days ago.
Uh-huh.
And then I finished the batch today.
Uh-huh.
So my piecing together of that was that it was just the glamour. Like, she couldn't put a face on this, like, shadow per se, because it had been, like, concealed by the glamour thing that they can do.
Okay, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, but you might be right, though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. That's just the read I got on it, was that she's having this nightmare about the pale woman who's kind of faceless, but then also, she says, all watched over by a shadow I could never quite glimpse. So that implies more to me that there's a different entity.
A different shadow. Yeah.
Right. That she's...
You might be right.
Yeah. Who knows? Like I said, the information we get later towards the end of this section seems to imply something very different, but who knows? What's next here? Yeah, she's kind of... She feels selfish,
cuts her hand
kind of
on a rose.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And he goes kissy kiss magic.
He's sucking the blood.
Yeah.
And makes her wound go away, because that's magic in this world. But yeah, my boy Tamlin making moves.
He's making
sucking
moves.
them fingies.
He's sucking them fingies. Direct quote from our girl Feyre here. He kissed it carefully in a way that made heat begin pounding in my core between my legs. She is just drenched down.
Dude. Waterfall.
You could drown a puppy in those panties. Like, I mean, I don't know why you would, but you could.
Yeah, waterfall for show. Hurting for a squirting.
Yeah. Does that kissy kiss magic. She catches him in a snare at some point. You're taking pictures of us?
Yeah, I'm taking pictures of us.
For the social?
For the socials.
We love a good social. Yeah, she
Hey,
catches
social
him in.
medias, say hello.
Hey, social medias.
Hi.
Hi.
They can't hear you. I'm telling them to say hello.
I hope they can hear me.
How would they hear you on my phone?
I don't know. I don't know how that works. She catches him in a snare. God damn it. Let me talk about this. But it was a ruse. He got definitely caught on purpose so she could stroke his hair and make him purr. That's definitely a thing that happened.
Purred? I was like, wait, this guy he purred.
He straight up
guy
purrs.
Fucking purred.
He's just a giant cat. Before he was a wolf with horns. Now he's just a giant cat.
Wait, hold on. You skipped some stuff. You skipped some stuff that I wanted to talk about.
Okay, sorry. What?
So it was just. Oh wait. No, you didn't. My order of operations is out. You're good. I'm sorry, bud.
Okay.
Apology on record. My bad.
I accepted. Then he reads her dirty limericks that he wrote for her using all her words, and she eats that shit up. She loves it.
I mean, who wouldn't though? You got a hot ass sweaty man.
He's so sweaty.
Purring at you?
Purring and hanging and upside down in a tree. Just sweat dripping everywhere and dirty limericks. I mean, come on. That's the dream.
Dude. Yeah.
That's the dream right there.
Waterfall.
She asked about his parents. Is this what you were talking about?
Yes.
Okay, hit me. What happens here?
Well, so he explains like how perfect they were for each other.
Mm-hmm.
And says that they're lucky that like they found each other as their mates.
Right.
She's kind of confused by this terminology, and he explains like, no, it's a little different when you're a fae. Like, people get married for all sorts of reasons, for political gain, for alliances, for whatever. But it's very seldom that you actually get married to somebody who is truly your mate.
Right. Like a mate is like a higher level of
like a soul mate. Like it's like they reach that level of like, hey, I'm actually like intimately connected with you.
Correct.
And it so happened that his parents were married and also mates.
He doesn't talk a lot about his mother.
He doesn't. And I'm interested now because
his father
works.
is a piece of shit, as were his brothers.
Sounds like it. It sounds like a lot of the older generation of fae are kind of just like maybe a little parallel here.
Does kind of seem that way. They kept slaves, did horrible things to humans, and it affected him enough that when basically he saw Feyre at her home, that's what kind of made him want to spare her.
Right.
But yes, he doesn't talk a lot about his mom, which is interesting. He talks more about his father and how shitty he was.
Yeah, and maybe you can close up this gap for me because my notes are a little loose and I read this several days ago. But they died like how does he explain how they died?
Let me see if I
or is it left like ambiguous like that? Like
it's kind of left. No, okay. Fortunately or unfortunately, they were all killed by the High Lord of an enemy court. I was spared for whatever reason or called and granted luck. So they are all dead.
Whatever reason. Okay.
For whatever reason. He says, my mother I mourned. The others, a shrug. My brothers would not have tried to save me from a fate like yours. So they are dead, according to him. Okay. She does not have the courage to ask him if fairies mate with humans. But we'll find out. We'll find out.
You're going to learn today.
You're going to learn today.
He does explain.
Go ahead. No, I was just going to say, he says that his power kept growing and he couldn't basically hide it. And it seems like that's what kind of forced his brother and his brothers and his dads to like fight against him or something because he was becoming too powerful.
Yeah, well, so like I think it was mentioned in one of the last batches that we did that like it's not about secession, it's about
right
who's the most powerful. So I think it became like abundantly clear, like, hey, this is kind of the guy now,
Right.
right? And
Yeah,
like his
true.
family didn't like that.
Seems that way.
He does also explain that it was a rough transition for him, becoming High Lord. He had spent, most of his upbringing as essentially a warlord for his father. So he's just not really trained in the ways of like politicking and being at court. He says a warrior beast.
But he is a trained fiddler.
He is a trained fiddler. He fiddles with something.
He's a fiddler and a diddler.
Fiddly diddly over here, my boy.
I thought that was so funny. We'll get him in his sweaty fiddle playing more
dude
later.
Feyre
we have
does
another
relate to this. She makes a call back to when Nesta called her a wild beast, and
true.
She connects to what Tamlin is saying, feeling out of place,
right?
In like at court.
So we have multiple like festivals during this section. The first one up is this fire night. And Tam's like, yeah, you're not invited. I'm sorry. SOL.
You're not good enough.
You're not it. You ain't Fae enough. I know Fae is literally in your name, but you're not Fae enough. He tells her just stay in the house and lock the doors. Spoiler alert, her ass does not listen. But first we get this, what did they call it? And is this the ACOTAR thing?
The meeting that they have?
Yeah. Is that what they call this thing? She can't see it.
I don't have the name of it written down.
Okay. I probably have it here somewhere, but Tam tells her to hide basically, no matter what she hears. And yeah, what do you have here? Because my notes are a little
so
spread.
So he tells him about the festival, then he realizes that somebody is here.
Right.
And he's like, hey, shut the fuck up. Don't say a word. Don't move a muscle. Don't even fucking think about moving a muscle. I'll be right back. And him and Lucian talk to this invisible woman.
Right.
Really, the key takeaway that I got from this conversation is one quote. She says, everyone at court is wondering why you haven't given up and why 4 Naga are dead. Tamlin says, hey, tell her I'm sick of the trash that she's dumping on my borders. And she kind of mocks him. Like she says, don't worry, High Lord. Like, right. Oh, you're a High Lord. Yeah,
because I do have a couple quotes here. I think this is Lucian. If she expected bowed heads, then she's more of an idiot than I thought. And the voice responds, speak you so ill of she who holds your fate in her hands. With one word, she could destroy this pathetic estate. So this seems to imply that they are on the back foot here.
Right.
But as nothing has come of it, she has chosen to ignore it. I think that's like about him dispatching his warriors. Yeah, it's like Tamlin and Lucian are trying to like play bold and politic here, but especially as we'll see later, it kind of seems like they're fucked. Like they're in just not a good position at all.
Yeah, like they're not super embedded in the court, so they're naturally already on the outs, and then his way of living and I guess like more like peaceful side of him, I think is like also like I don't know. It just seems like there's a lot working against him and the spring court.
Right. And his ideals probably, I'm sure.
Right. Feyre asks him, what was that?
Yeah.
And he says, there are certain fairies in Prithian that inspire the legends that you humans are so afraid of. That one is myth given flesh. Which is pretty sick.
I did find it. They do at some point call it an ATOR. ATTOR. I don't know how it's pronounced, but.
Okay. I don't recall.
Because, yeah, Lucian asks Feyre what she heard, and she's like, nothing that I understood. That was gibberish to me. And he's worried that it saw her, and Tam's like, it didn't.
We find out later he put like a glamour thing on her.
Yep. She also thinks this she might be a high lady, and that also she might be the one who killed Tam's family. This is kind of like what Feyre is thinking in her head.
Right.
So that was all I had for chapter 19.
Yep. Same here.
Okay.
Interesting stuff. The ending of that was solid.
Yeah, the ending was solid. I know at the beginning I said, like, everything's kind of too easy and too perfect, and then this first chapter is, like, kind of all bad news. But we get there. It's
just this, like, very strange, like, juxtaposition that we get between, like, having scenes like this and then having scenes where it's, like, sunshine and rainbows and rolling in the grass. That's what it is. That's really what it is.
There doesn't seem to be much sense of urgency from our boy. Hey, listen, you gotta, get your laughs, get your smiles in where you can. I get that, but
you gotta get something in where you can.
Oh, he does. So she's painting. She paints this. This is chapter 20. She paints this nightmarish creature, and at some point she says she swears she can smell its breath. This is where I also thought, I'm like, she either has or she's gonna have magic painting powers, like as part of her Fey magic.
I thought of that to some degree, actually. Maybe it was in this chapter. There is a great character in the Stormlight Archives, Shallan, who has a very interesting power that has to do with like sketching and painting. And I was like, that'd be kind of cool.
Wasn't Shallan the one I liked?
Shallan is the one that you liked, yes.
Maybe I'll get.
She's got some cool stuff. You do need to get back to that book.
Okay. Yeah, that's my theory. She has her Fey bloodlines. I'm gonna go ahead and predict she's got magic painting powers.
Okay.
But yeah, she's super jealous. She can't go to the party. Tam's like, stay in your chamber and lock the doors. So of course she goes. She's like, fuck this shit, I'm out.
I'm so annoyed at this point. Yeah. Like I don't know that that Tamlin and Lucian have been more
accommodating.
Well, yes, accommodating. No, but in this moment, I don't know that there's ever been a time where they have been more like adamant, like, seriously, Feyre, like, you don't fucking get it.
And
like,
serious.
Do not come over here.
Right.
Like, there's I mean, and they say kind of what they can. Like, there is a ritual. There are going to be hundreds of Fae. The borders are like
not
open.
From our court also.
Yes, the borders are open. Like, it is literally not safe. Please go to your room and like lock your door.
Yeah.
She sits in her room for 2 hours and is like, man, those drums sound real fucking cool.
Those drums sound fucking
got to check
hot.
Those out.
That is a hot beat. I gotta get
it sounds
out
like
there.
There's some sweaty people out there, dude.
They're so sweaty. I gotta see
They're
this
so
shit.
fucking sweaty, glistening sweat everywhere.
Bet they're
I just
purring and growling like crazy too.
Dude.
No, this is exactly the kind of thing that I would get so annoyed at like Harry and them for through the Harry Potter books. The difference is they are teenagers. So they're like expected to make dumb childish decisions.
Mm-hmm.
She's a grown-ass woman, right? Like,
hey,
how old is
I'll
she?
add the cherry on top here for you. Yes, they're teenagers, so they can make dumb decisions, but they also are capable. They have magic that they can
do
use.
Have magic, yeah.
She doesn't.
She got nothing. She got snares. Was she gonna set a snare for him when she goes out there?
Man. So
those
annoyed.
drums are just too hot to resist, man. Yeah, I was also very annoyed with Feyre here. So of course she gets immediately 3 creep ass fairies realize she's a human and start to take her into the woods for horrible things, I'm sure. But she's rescued by the most beautiful man she's ever seen. And I'm like, whoa, shots fired at my guy Tam. You just immediately like, oh no, this is the hottest dude I've ever seen.
Yep.
And that's kind of the
by the
entirety
way,
of
how
chapter 20.
what is this? It's called Calumni?
Oh, the festival. I called it Fire Night in my notes because that was easier, but it's like Calm Night or something like that.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so some real fucking hot ass dude.
Yeah.
Keeps her from getting kidnapped. And that's where the chapter ends.
Yep.
And although I was very annoyed with her decision making to go there, like I understand to an extent, like we need to see what the fuck is going on.
This is storytelling. Like this is how you create conflict. Sure.
Yes. But for a character, Feyre.
Yeah. Come on.
Grow up a little.
So our guy here is not wearing a mask. So she immediately knows he's from another court.
Yeah. And he's hot as fuck.
Because she can see his whole face. Maybe that's the difference. Maybe Tam is hotter, but she just can't see the top of his face.
Yeah, true.
He asks her what a mortal is doing here on Fire Night, and she's like, my besties are fairies. Like, we've been chums for ages. I come out every Fire Night. Like, how have you not seen me?
And while she's saying this, she's also simultaneously noticing at how skin tight his clothing is.
Oh, yeah.
And how fucking ripped this guy is.
Yeah.
So
this guy is shredded.
But
she's also realizing that he might be more terrifying than the other 3 that he just rescued her from. Let's see. What does he say here? He's like, yeah, I'm not a part of the noble spring court and glad of it.
Is this where? Oh, you know what? He has a line here. She says, "Leave me alone," and they get a little cheeky with each other for a second. But he says something. I can't remember exactly what he was responding to now. But he says, "Because all the monsters have been let out of their cage tonight, so I can roam wherever I want until the dawn."
Right.
Yeah, so dude seems either like a stealthy badass or also like he's being set up to be like a villain. Couldn't really
at this point I was torn. Obviously we get more information later. He seems like a pure villain. And I was leaning more towards your first saying, like stealthy badass.
Like I was almost like, oh, is there going to be like a love triangle type thing? Like,
right. This is
she'll be into him.
Is it Edgar? What's the? Isn't there a love triangle in Twilight? The
Edgar?
Werewolf. Edgar. It's Edgar.
No, it's Edward.
Oh, that's why I was right. I said Edward first, and you didn't respond. You baited me into that one.
Fucking Edgar.
Yeah, is this Edgar? Is this Edgar the werewolf?
Okay, first off, Edward is a vampire. Jacob is a werewolf.
No, okay, yeah, Jacob is the one I was thinking of. Yeah, is this your Edgar the werewolf character, also known as Jacob? Yes, that was my first initial leading. Obviously, we now know more. And
I cannot deal with you.
I don't read fucking Twilight. I only know what I've heard in passing, Zach.
You are the worst.
I am the worst. Lucian spots her and he freaks the fuck out. Deservedly so.
Yes.
He literally just throws her over his shoulder like she's a sack of potatoes and sprints her back to the mansion.
She has the fucking audacity to say, I hate feeling like a disobedient child.
She does. I
don't
had that
fucking
exact.
act like one.
I had that exact line.
What are we doing here?
Yeah.
What is going
So
on?
this is where we find out what is going on at this fire festival. Basically, Tam is the hottest big dick swinging motherfucker around. And a great and terrible magic will enter his body. And then he will use that magic body to
fuck.
bang to fuck the earth into oblivion or something. I don't know. Like, it's gonna help the earth somehow. He's gonna stick his dick into like the earth, and magic is just gonna flow through it, and
it's going to impregnate the earth.
Their organic crops will be so great after that. After he comes in the earth. No, it's the maiden. He's looking for the maiden.
Right.
And it will regenerate life for the earth to come. And Lucian's like, listen, he's not going to be the fairy that you know tonight. He'll actually be even hotter and sweatier, and you'll want him even more. Yeah, Tam has to give the old magic wham bam right in the clam. Is the essence of it here.
Yeah.
I love how Lucian throws in here too, like, well, also Tam's not the only one who gets to perform the rite tonight. Once he makes his choice, we're kind of just free to mingle. Because that also helps the earth. It's for the earth, guys. It's like it also our dalliances will also help the land. Trust me. So Lucian basically tells her that it's a good thing I found you when I did, because he would have smelled you and claimed you, and you wouldn't have liked it. Tonight is not for lovemaking, he says, which is just
tonight's for fucking, dude.
I love that line from Lucian. Tonight is not for lovemaking. Tonight is for just hard banging. Spoiler alert, he still smells her regardless.
Right.
And he still wants that. Because Lucian even says, I need to return before he arrives at the cave. At least try to control him when he smells you and can't find you in the crowd. Yeah. Then what happens, Zach?
Okay. So first off, as this conversation ends, she makes a comment to herself, but hearing that some feral part of him wanted me, ... And I'm like, girl, first off, you should know this already. Are you reading the same book we're reading? Like, dude, he wants you.
Yeah.
But second, like, she is being such a child in this chapter.
Yeah, kind of.
Because so like there, I think is a good example. Like you just like the hearing what you want to hear thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then all of this just happened. She was finally explained to her why it's like crazily, like just crazy important for her to stay in her room.
Right.
So she's like, all right already. So she goes to her room.
She finally locks herself in the room.
And then she wakes up a few hours later and she's like, hey, I'm going to go for a stroll.
Until she wanted some loving. As simple as that. She goes to get a midnight snack because, you know, like subconsciously or not, she wanted it.
Yeah.
You don't just nonchalantly go to get a midnight snack after Lucian has told you all this.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on.
So she goes to paint.
Mm-hmm.
Tamlin catches her in the hallway.
Yeah,
going somewhere.
Oh.
I smelled you. I searched for you, and you weren't there. And then
Also,
And
your
then he-
door was locked and I can't get through it. What is with these damn doors? I have huge claws and magic, but that damn door, I just could not get through it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So he starts to kind of like make some advances at her, like physical advances, like he's just getting closer and like he pins her down. Like he like grabs, I think if I'm remembering correctly, like he like grabs her wrists, right?
So.
Or like forearms or something like that. And I have a quote here from Tamlin.
Oh, I have many quotes from Tamlin because they're great.
She asked me not to be gentle with her.
Yeah.
I would have been gentle with you, though. I would have had you moaning my name throughout it all. And I would have taken a very, very long time, Feyre.
He adds an extra very in there. A very, very long time.
And my response to this is, bro, that's crazy, dude.
Bro, that's crazy.
That is crazy, dude. Oh my god, yeah.
No one has sounded hotter while talking about the other chick that they banged that night. Like, Feyre barely even registers. She does register it a little bit. It's more like a jealousy thing.
Uh-huh.
But she still is like mostly all in while he's just telling her, yeah, she was like,
I fucked the shit out of this other chick.
She more or less told me to make it hurt.
Dude. Bro, that's crazy, dude.
Girl, that is crazy. She makes a wisecrack about why would I want your sloppy seconds, basically. Because she's trying to play it cool. And he responds by just biting the shit out of her neck. What a move. That is so...
He plays his trap card, dude.
She fucking loves it. She pretends like she doesn't, but she fucking loves that shit. Oh my god. And we get confirmation for sure from her mind brain later. Confirmed she loved that shit.
Why would I want your sloppy seconds? Chomp.
She has no response. I'm not even gonna bother to dignify that with a comment. How
about I just bite you instead?
Then he tells her, "Don't ever disobey me again." That's what truly pisses her off. So then she slaps him. Is like, "Don't tell me what to do. Oh, and also don't bite me." Meanwhile, inside her mind, she's thinking, "Definitely do all those things to me."
And then he hits us with the famous, he growls in frustration.
Oh, he growls so much.
And
he's the growliest boy. Yeah. That's pretty much that chapter.
I have some mega thoughts here about this next scene at the start of chapter 22. Did you have anything
what about
21?
her? No, that was the end of chapter 21 for sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I am just going to say, I don't know if you felt this way, but I got ultra gaslighty vibes from Tamlin during this breakfast scene, and I fucking hated it.
Really? Okay.
She has breakfast with them.
Uh-huh.
Tamlin was pissed off, and he hits her with a, well, if she can't be bothered to listen to orders, then I can't be held accountable for the consequences.
That's true. He does
That's
say
like
that.
straight up fucking frat boy rapist talk right there, dude. And
yes.
I hated it.
No, it's... I don't want to sound like I'm defending Tamlin here, but it came off to me more like he's like, listen, we both told her to stay in her room. And when I'm high as a fucking kite on fairy magic, like I can't be held responsible for my actions.
The part about it that pisses me off is the fact that it's his actions that he's trying to justify. Like for example, if she made her dumbass decisions that she did make, that do have consequences, and she went out and got like fucked up by some other fairy.
Sure.
And it was like, dude, we told you there are consequences to your actions. But then the fact that it's just like, hey, I kind of like pinned you down and bit you and like kind of was a little forceful with you, even though we know through her mind brain that she liked it.
Yes.
I'm just like, I don't know. That kind of just gave me the ick, if I'm being totally honest with you, Scott.
This whole thing is like such a weird, like, I don't know how to respond to this because it's, yes, I think there's definitely the ick factor, and I don't know if that's
like he just became a Bryce to me. This
Bryce?
guy's name is Bryce, and he's in a fraternity
Bryce,
or whatever the fuck.
Bryce is a great frat boy name.
Fucking Chad.
So fucking Bryce and Chad bros. Yeah, look, like no, you're right. And I want to see, the problem is they're both in the wrong.
Oh, sure.
And so you're right with the heavy gaslighting like going on here. But also, again, he was high as a kite on fairy magic. He was fucking the earth for the land.
He was fucking that cave, dude.
That cave is just white now. It's completely white. Yeah, I don't know. This is kind of resolved so quickly that like there wasn't even really time, I felt like, to like dwell on this or like who was.
Which is another red flag to me, because that's how every shit fucking relationship is. It's like, hey, I'm going to fuck you up. You're going to be pissed at it. I'm going to gaslight you. And then we'll joke about it in like 4 hours.
They literally do that.
and then they're just like, okay, we're fine now. I was like, I don't like this. Why do women like this? This is not good. This is not okay.
They do.
Maybe this is why people don't like Tamlin, apparently. I don't know. Now there's probably more to it.
There's probably more. Yeah, because she paints them both as pigs for a while. And then
fairy pig, she yells and leaves.
Yeah. And then she goes and paints them as fairy pigs. And he comes back in and she notices he's like normal ass Tam again. He's not fairy magic high as a kite Tam. And that makes her happy. And then they mutually apologize and he brings her roses. And she's so happy that she dresses up for dinner in like a dress for the first time ever. And it's like, that resolved so quickly and easily. And that's kind of what I was referring to at the beginning, where it's just like, there's like a small hint of a conflict here. And then it's just like instantly
too easy
resolved. Yes. So I was like, that's kind of, whatever.
You know, it's a double-edged sword though, because I don't like Feyre's internal dialogue. when she is faced with conflict.
Yeah.
It's kind of a little much for me, if I'm being honest.
No, you're right. And
because I don't want to live in that.
I also constantly complain about like when characters do make like dumb decisions, and I'm like, just be logical, like act like adults. And here they are acting like adults and apologizing to each other, and I'm also upset at that. So I guess I'm just a giant hypocrite.
I'm glad you pointed it out.
Yeah, listen, I just
no, but look, like jokes aside, you that is something to talk about. If we're talking about story beats, like the conflict, it now our expectations of what conflict are have been tempered now. Like we don't see stakes in there being like issues between them.
Right.
And I think that's a bad thing, like in storytelling, regardless if I want to be in Feyre's mad head or whatever, you know, or regardless if I want to see people be adults making like mature emotional decisions and apologizing. Like the fact that their conflict lasted literally 3 pages, if even,
Yeah.
is a little. It's just a little easy. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. We learn here a little more about Alice, which I was here for. She came
Yeah.
from the summer court after her sister and mates were killed. And all she says about it is that she came here to do what she could. Don't know
What's
what that
fucked
means.
is that we learned just recently what a mate is, and it's more than just like a husband or a wife. And we learned that her mate was killed, and that's fucked.
Well, that's her sister's mate, right? Not her mate. Or did I misunderstand that the way that
I
was
thought
read?
you just said her mate. I thought I misunderstood, and you said that, and I was like, oh, okay.
I
fuck.
thought it was her sister and her sister's mate. Maybe I just said it wrong.
No, you're right, because she is taking
The
care
boys,
of her sister's
the nephews,
kids.
Yes.
You're right.
Okay. We got there. Lucian is still my goat. When she comes down in the dress, why did I say it like that? Lucian just immediately dips. He's like, well, I'm late for something incredibly important, actually, and it's just fucking gone. Which I'm like, hell yeah, Lucian, that's my guy. That's great wingman behavior from from Lucian.
The dude gets it. That's Chad.
He gets it
for his Bryce.
Yeah, don't call my poor guy Lucian Chad. That's just so unnecessary.
Okay, we get it. We get a good little gag here. She goes down. They're sitting at the dinner table, and it's a very long dinner table. And she says, "You're so far from me." And he goes, "What? Well, check this shit out." And he like throws glitter, and then the table shrinks.
Throws glitter.
Yeah, and then the table shrinks, and then they're sitting like right in front of each other.
Mm-hmm.
But then we realize that this has drained him.
Yes, that's what I was just about to say. He does a check this shit out bit, and then is too drained to light some candles later. Yeah. He does the full, like, doubled over with his hands on his knees, just.
Yeah.
Wait, candles? What? You wanted me to light what now?
Yeah.
Hold up a minute.
He's like, hold on. He pulls out a match.
Yeah, he's like, oh shit. Lucian, bring my lighter.
Yeah, it's very good.
You can't be flexing like that if it's gonna like
what?
He flexes so hard he like pulls a muscle. He's like, oh shit.
Fucking blood vessel in his eye pops.
Yes. Oh my god.
What I did find very interesting, and maybe I just misunderstood, so I'll ask you. I thought that this whole like fire night like festival thing was to replenish the magic and like revitalize them. So he does all this.
The land. It replenished the land.
Is it replenish the land? Okay.
I think I got the vibe it was for like good crops and shit. I don't know.
Oh, fertility.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, fertility.
Well,
why did you say it like that? Oh, fertility.
In a lot of like mythos, which fantasy usually draws on, the god or goddess of fertility is usually also the god or goddess of like crops and like plentiful,
and
like
he
bountiful.
Fucked them both with his when he was high on fairy magic. Yeah, I think the blight, they gotta figure out the blight before their power can be restored. I think. I don't think this fire night is fixing
you're
that.
Right. You're right. That must have been my misunderstanding.
Yeah.
But what I did think was cool is he says she says, "Oh, where did it go? How did you do that magic trick, Mr. Magician?" And he says, "The magic is basically like I'm putting something into a broom closet that is between pockets of the world."
Kind of a cool
So
little,
it's kind of like a little mini like isolated pocket dimension is what it seems like.
Yeah.
Um
I took note of that as well. That was kind of cool.
I wonder how that will come into play later, because that's a very cool power.
Well, apparently he can only do it like once every 3 hours because this shit drains his ass.
10-foot table.
Not as much as he drained himself in that cave, but
Hell yeah, my guy. That's a good one.
So, thank you. So she takes him to see her paintings. There is a painting of her banging Isaac Hale, which he comments on. He's like, "Oh, this is you and the man in your village, while you made love." And
I envision him going, "This is you and the man in your village."
Man in your village.
As he like flexes his shoulders.
Yeah. I love her inner dialogue here is like, was that jealousy? I wouldn't apologize for Isaac. Not when Tamlin had just been in the Great Right. Oh, he was in the Great Right, all right. I didn't hold that against him, but if he was going
in the
to be
Great
jealous
Right
of
and
Isaac,
the Great Left.
What the fuck? I don't even get that. Oh
just
my
move
God.
with it. Just go with it.
Callan Mai. I do have it here. Callan Mai. Yeah, that was the name of it. He wants the snowy painting, right?
Yes, because it reminds him that he's not alone or something like that.
Yeah, where do I have this? Oh, she tries to ask him if there's any way that she can help. With like the blight and shit. And he's like, "No, it's my burden to bear. I just want you here and safe." And then she gets all like self-conscious again, and she's like, "Well, do you just want me gone then? Should I leave?" And there's a quip here she has after he says, "Didn't Kalimni teach you anything?" And she comes back with, "Only that magic makes you into a brute." Which is pretty good.
Only that magic makes you into a Bryce.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Man, well done. A very sweaty Bryce. But he says, "No, I don't want you to live somewhere else. I want you here where I can look after you, where I can come home and know you're here, painting and safe." And that's very sweet. How sweet of them.
How sweet and romantic. And yeah, I think you said fatigue at the top of this episode, and I think that's the best word that I think that could be used to describe what we're seeing here. I don't dislike their interactions.
No.
I just we need more. The only part of this that is fun is when the other things are happening around it, where they have to address those together.
Correct.
So yeah, I really hope that we get more of that throughout. I mean, I'm sure we will, because it seems like some shit's being set up, but
and that's part of the difficulty of doing this in like chapter section chunks like this. It's like, it's honestly not like a super fair way to like judge the book, because it's like we're doing it in sections, and it's all things are not equal, and you have to be able to, obviously it would be better if we could look at the whole picture, the whole book together as one, but that's more difficult and would take forever.
Yeah, but also it is the truth of a reader reading it for the first time. These are the thoughts that most people will have as they're going through the story. Will it resolve? Likely. But yeah, I mean, this is, I feel like it's authentic to the beats of the story so far.
No, that's true.
Just how it feels.
Yeah. Here's I think what you were saying. He when he tells her he wants the snowy painting,
Oh, right.
he just starts monologuing at her just out of nowhere, and just
Straight
straight
up
up tells her,
anime.
"I've had many lovers, females of noble birth, warriors, princesses," and she's just like super pissed, and she's just like, "Why is he telling me this?"
Sounds like a typical Bryce.
Yeah, typical Bryce moment here. And then he's like, "But they never understood what it was like for me to care for my people, my lands, what scars are still there, what the bad days feel like. This reminds me of it." And she's like, "Of what?" "That I'm not alone." And I'm like, "Aw." And then she ends the chapter with her thinking, "I didn't lock my bedroom door that night." Yeah, you didn't lock it the night before, idiot. You went to get a midnight snack. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's all I had for
chapter. That was chapter 22. I don't have a ton of notes for 23. I do think it's a shorter chapter.
Yeah, it's much shorter.
But so they're out in the forest or like gardens, or they're outside in nature.
True, actually.
And he tells her, "Hey, there is actually a way that would let you be able to see the magic, hear it, smell it, and taste it." And I put taste in quotations because I thought that was central. And he's like, "We don't just give things away for free, so you're gonna have to give me something." He's doing the all quid pro quo sexual harassment here. You give me this, I give you that.
Yeah.
And he goes, "You just have to give me a kiss." And my note just said, "Wowee."
Wowee.
Wowee.
By the way, as if it isn't funny enough that he asked for a kiss when not like he just bit her neck 2 nights ago. But bro really tried to get 3 kisses for one, by the way. Did you notice this?
Oh, yeah.
Because he says you have to give me a kiss.
Bro.
He is scheming. He is dastardly, my guy. He kisses her once on each eyelid, which I thought was like, okay, there's the kiss. But no, that just awakened the fairy powers or whatever, and then she sees for a while, and then he's like, "Okay, where's my kiss?" And I'm like, "Oh, he's trying to get 3 kisses for one. That's my dude."
Good on Farah though. And she's like, "Okay." Kisses his hand.
Oh yeah, true, she does. What a cheeky.
She gives him the old razzle dazzle.
Mwah. It was probably she just like all sloppy too.
I do want to call out, you were out here talking about my boy Edgar Cullen from Twilight.
When you say it like that, it does sound not great for Edgar.
It sounds so
Edgar Cullen. My favorite Robert Pattinson character, Edgar Cullen.
Fuck, dude. When she has her like fairy sight awoken or whatever the fuck we want to call this, she says that his skin is gleaming with a golden sheen.
Oh yeah,
very Edgar Cullen-esque. And
then she climbs on his back like a spider monkey.
Like a spider monkey. He asks, "What do you think I look like under this mask?" And she tells him, and he's grinning. And it's super cute.
Yeah. Cause as she just her ass just gets narcolepsy and falls asleep, by the way. And she thinks as she's falling asleep, she thinks Jesus. I'm gonna get there. She thinks she hears him say, "You're exactly as I dreamed you'd be too." So it sounds like she just described him. I'm sorry, what?
What?
She described him perfectly, like in her dreams, and he been dreaming about her too, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
And the prophecy will be fulfilled. Because dreams, you know?
Yeah, dreams are...
I'm like that meme of that guy, the aliens, except dreams.
No, dude, you're the meme of that of Charlie Day with the fucking billboard of, or the board of
Pepe
all the
Sylvia.
conspiracy. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's
24.
That's all I had for 23.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot, hold
was...
on. Do we need to do our thing, Zach?
Oh.
Should we interrupt here? Is this a good time?
Yeah, this is a great time. We are
Let's do it.
interrupting. There we go. Special broadcast from AH.
Oh, what is this?
For those of you guys who don't remember, my wife Amanda, she is filling us in with all of the hot goss of the latest trash TV bullshit. Scotty and I have not listened to this. We don't listen to them before they come on the show, so this is our live react. Potential spoiler warning if you guys are watching shit TV.
That's
so this
live
is what Amanda has to say.
Yeah. Live on the scene, Amanda, what are you seeing out there?
Okay. So Callum walks in and he's ready to start a new relationship, but he's been in a relationship for the past 3 years with Molly, and they just broke up 6 months ago. And he's like, you know what? I'm ready to like commit myself to somebody again, like a sociopath. And so they're like, okay, pick anybody you want to choose from. You could pick anybody. And then they're like, but before you make this decision, we have another person coming. And in walks Molly. So these two fucking people, after being in a relationship for 3 years and then break up for 6 months, they're both like, you know what? I'm going to go back and I'm going to go on this fucking show and try and find love. And then they're in there together. And now they have to potentially sleep in the bed with each other. Like, what the actual fuck? And then not only that, Callum picks Molly. He's like, out of all these new, fresh people, these new, fresh faces I want to be with, I'm just going to go back to old faithful over here and everything will be fine. And you guys know how that works. And
I do.
You know what I always say about it. So repeat after me. Say it at the same time. 1, 2, 3. This is so frustrating. I'm gonna get a hard-boiled egg.
Does she say that? What the fuck? Yeah, Zach, you're her wife. Is that how that goes? She's always is saying that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
What show did she even say? What show she's talking about? Okay, yeah, I just want to make sure I hadn't missed it. Callum sounds like the name of somebody from your bullshit Stormlight archives. By the way,
it does. That's a good name. Callum's a pretty good name.
Not really.
It's better than Bryce.
That every name is better than Bryce. Sorry to all the Bryces out there.
You think we have any Bryces listening to the show?
I have no idea. Leave us a comment if your name is Bryce.
Wait. Let us know how many Bryces you think are listening to the Mythkeepers podcast.
Or how many Bryces you've known and if they all suck. Holy shit. Yeah, that sounds like some shit with Callum and Molly. Who'da thunk, you know?
Yeah.
Those two crazy kids.
I wonder if they will rekindle their lost love in the game show. I don't know, whatever.
I don't know what the fuck. You live with her, you should know.
This has been Amanda's Hot Goss, or AHG. Thank you for listening.
That was ridiculous.
Oh man, that was pretty good.
Right,
at least Joe Biden didn't make an appearance this time.
Yeah, she apparently did not get a text from Joe Biden in the middle of her rant there. She was kept on track, and she didn't see a squirrel.
That is how she is, though.
That was pretty funny. Chapter 24. So now she's got the sight, and she notices the Alice is different.
She's
and
like,
all sex doing like a fucking Mewtwo Psybeam right now. All the fairies are different. She's like, oh shit. They actually don't look like what I thought they look like. Because the glamours are gone. Like basically Lucian and Tam, maybe not Lucian, but they had glamours up to not freak her out constantly when she first got there, is my understanding of this.
Yeah.
She saw the others for what they were, like the Naga and the Bogey or whatever, because they weren't a part of his court. What? What is so funny?
The Puka?
Oh, there was a Puka too. There was a Bogey too. Or Bog.
Was it Bogey? Oh, it was Bog, dude.
We don't make fun of the way I pronounce things. Oh, this, I can't remember if this is Tamlin or Lucian talking to her. He says the blight is acting up again, and more of these creatures are being freed from their tethers. This is Tam. If you spot one, even if it looks harmless but makes you feel uncomfortable, pretend you don't see it. Don't talk to it. I love this advice. This is what I live my life by, honestly. If you ignore your problems for long enough, they'll just go away on their own.
Dude, can I share a story?
Yeah, absolutely.
About that?
Yeah.
It's about you, actually.
Oh, you ignored me long enough and I didn't
No. It's about you doing exactly that.
Oh, yeah. No, I definitely do that.
So, okay. For those of you guys who have been with Scott and I since the We Don't Wanna days, you may know this about our past. If you're new here, for some context,
like that, you may know about our past.
About our past.
About our dark history.
Okay. So Scott and I used to manage a retail store together.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we met. One day, this very sweaty, disheveled man.
This story. I had no idea where you were going with this. This a little different than what I just said.
But it applies, dude.
It kind of does apply.
This very sweaty, disheveled man walks into our store, and he's like asking people to like use their phone or he's just being kind of a weirdo.
Yeah.
He makes his way across the store and gets to the counter area where Scott is working behind the counter. And he walks up to Scott and he says in a very low voice,
mumbly,
"Give me the keys to your car or I'll shoot you." And Scott goes, "Well, why don't you do it, Scott? You be you."
Okay.
You be you.
You be you.
You be you, Scott.
The first time he did it, I genuinely did not hear or understand him.
Well, okay, hold on, wait, hold on.
You can't even do it.
Wait.
This was a very serious situation, by the way.
Give me the keys to your car or I'll shoot you.
I'm sorry?
Give me the keys to your car. Give me the keys to your car or I'll shoot you.
I'm not quite catching it. I'm sorry again.
Was it like 4 times?
It was, probably at least 4 times. Basically,
dude,
I didn't know how to respond to that. So I just kept pretending I couldn't hear or understand him.
Dude.
And eventually he gave up.
He gave up and walked out.
So, listen, that philosophy has possibly
saved your life.
Saved my life, yeah.
Dude.
Just pretend you don't have problems and they'll go away,
Just sharing words to live by here.
It was
Mythkeepers.
Yes, true. That was a wild moment. I forgot that happened.
That was something. I'm crying.
That was definitely a little scary at the time, but I couldn't help myself from being a little bit of a shithead. Just like I'm just not catching it.
What a more Scott way to go out, dude.
It's just being a giant asshole. Sorry, I just
pulls out a gun and shoots you.
I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Dude. You're gonna have to
speak up a little. That would be so on brand for me. Oh
fuck,
shit,
man.
Where were we?
I don't even know.
This is where they find the head, right?
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah, because the next thing I have is they branded him behind the ear with a sigil, a mountain with 3 stars, night court.
Right. Mountain 3 stars, night score. Yeah, branded behind the ear. Okay, yeah. So apparently the night court is like very crude and ruthless like this.
All sadistic killers who delight in torture, Lucian says.
They must have crossed Tam's border in order to do this with how fresh the kill is.
Right.
We do also get some dialogue from Tam explaining that like this is basically the way that like the night court jokes. Like they're like fucking with him.
Yeah.
Another comment that's made here that I took note of is the other courts are circling the Spring Court like vultures.
Yeah.
Just waiting for when the blight makes the Spring Court's defenses fall.
Yeah.
Um,
This is great inner dialogue from Feyre here when Tam says that. I didn't have the heart to say that their mass made it fairly clear that nothing could be done against the blight. So even Feyre, like Tam's like, nah, I won't let that happen. And Feyre's like, have you checked out your masks lately, my guy?
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. Yeah, and then she remarks on like their idea of jokes must have been even more horrible when we were enslaved to you all. They must have done like torture, whatever they liked, unspeakable, awful things to their human pets. And Tamlin basically responds with, some days I'm very glad I was still a child when my father sent his slaves south of the wall. What I witnessed then was bad enough.
And Feyre responds with, you're not your father, Tamlin.
Right.
And she does make notice that there's a lot in his eyes that tell maybe more of a story about his family that we haven't been given a chance to see, which that's definitely like a top 3 to 5 like area of intrigue for me. I want to know more
his
about
family.
Yeah. I want to know more about like the dealings that they had going on for sure.
For sure. I would agree. She wants to ask him more about this, but decides to give him space until he's ready.
What an emotionally mature.
Yeah, what a mature decision from Feyre. Way to go.
Wow. Growth.
That's all I had for chapter 4. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay. This is, I guess, what I have here is Feyre's inner monologue. I knew I was headed down a path that would likely end in my mortal heart being left in pieces, and yet I couldn't stop myself. I hadn't been able to since that day with the Naga.
Dude, my mortal heart would be a fucking hell of an emo band name.
That is pretty good. My mortal heart goes pretty hard.
Dude, that's a great band name.
That's great. That's great. Emo for sure. For sure.
Oh,
for
yeah,
sure.
dude.
Quick little lore here. Alice's people are called the Urisk.
Yes.
And they're about to have a summer solstice festival. And Alice is like, hey, you can go to this one, by the way. She's like, she gives her a cheeky little like, this one's okay for you. I have a quote here from Lucian. This is again just me reading him in Asterian's voice. This is I'm always fascinated by like stories, whether they're fantasy or sci-fi or whatever they are, where it's like the writer invents slang for like, you know, their culture or, you know, like the way they speak in a time that's not ours or a world that's not ours.
Right.
And Lucian, direct quote here, This is as Feyre is coming down the stairs in her summer solstice festival dress. Lucian says, "Cauldron boil me. She looks positively fey." I'm just like, that is the cheesiest shit.
It's so good. I love that shit.
No, I do too. That's what I'm saying. I'm fascinated by corny.
It's just like in Stormlight when they say like storm you or storm off.
Yep, 100%.
It's
love
so funny, dude.
Otherworld like fantasy slang. I love that shit. I eat it up.
Yes,
it's great.
Yeah. So when Tamlin arrives, Alice is like, "Oh shit." And like ushers Feyre up to her room to like change her and get her into a really nice dress.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole time, Feyre's like, "Oh, what the fuck is happening? Like, we didn't plan on this." And then she takes her down, and Tamlin is like, "Hey, you look hot as fuck." And I made a note here, and I was like, is this like strange? Like, I don't know if I'd call it pacing, but like we're getting another party.
Yeah, I did find
and
that
there just hasn't been any mention of it either. Like you would think it would be like, oh hey, like there's a thing coming up in a month, or you know, it's like the day of. She's like, oh yeah, by the way, there's a party and you're invited.
She's too busy painting. I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I didn't have that bit. It did seem strange that there were like seemingly two festivals like so close back to back here, but I do also think it says something to the effect of like weeks passed and I painted. I don't know. I didn't take note of that shit. But that seemed a bit strange, but the fact like what you're saying where they didn't like tell her this was coming up, I didn't have a problem with that.
Okay, all right, it's just me. Fuck me.
Yeah, true. Lucian tells her, "Hey, don't drink the fairy wine." And she's like, "I'm gonna, because you're full of shit. You told me those berries that I wanted to eat were totally fine, and it made me hallucinate. I was high as a kite, and then you laughed so hard that Tamlin threw you into a pond." And I thought that whole interaction was just amazing. I'm like, wait, why didn't we get this bit? Like, this sounds great. But Lucian is like, "Yeah, okay, I know I was fucking with you on the berries, but seriously, Tam would gut me if he knew I let you drink that." So of course she does.
She responds with like, "Okay, so this is about you saving your ass." True. Which it's always about you saving your ass, which I think is a great call out.
But Tam has no problem with this. He loves it. So I don't know what Lucian is on about here.
Yeah.
This was strange.
So this is something that I noticed. Where was Tamlin? If there had been and we know now, obviously, where Tamlin was, because we're going to get there in just a minute. But this was just my thought process reading this.
Mm-hmm.
If there had been some threat, surely Lucian would have known. Surely they would have called off the celebration. And in all caps, I was like, yeah, okay. If that's not foreshadowing, then I don't know what the fuck is. Yeah, well, hey, guys, just kidding. Spoiler alert. It wasn't foreshadowing. At least not for this moment.
They have like
but I was just like, these fucking idiots think that...
They think they're so clever. This party is getting ruined immediately.
Yeah, that's how I was, dude.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
No, actually, they just have like the most magical night ever. It's so magical. From when she stumbles into this fiddle player, who is of course is our boy Tam.
Mm-hmm.
3 times in the next like 2 paragraphs, it is mentioned how sweaty he is. And I like this shit is fucking great.
Yeah.
Obviously there has been so much growling and purring going on, which you made note of at the top of the episode. And it's like, whatever. But the sweatiness was just like at an all-time high here. And
Hey,
I
man,
thought that was hilarious.
I'm just like, hey, dude, a nice ripped body that's like kind of glistening in some sweat. Let's go, dude.
Let's fucking go. It's summer
Let's
solstice.
fucking go.
Why would you not be out sweaty fiddling and dancing? You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I'm gonna sweaty fiddle something, my guy.
Yeah, you are.
The sweaty fiddle diddle.
The sweaty fiddle diddle.
That was my nickname in high school.
That's gotta be the name of this episode. The sweaty fiddle diddle.
I'm taking a note of it now.
Oh shit. So her ass is drunk, dancing all over the place. Tam loves it. He's like, "Hey, want to see something even cooler?" And she's like, "It better be your hot
And he
bod."
pulls his pants down.
And he pulls his pants down. That's so good. No, but they dance among will-o-wisps, and it's just so magical.
And Ori's there, and it's
Ori
great.
and the will-o-wisp. Oh, that's a good joke. I should have made that joke. That's a really good one. Great game, by the way.
Yeah, my note to this is she wants to go back where the music's starting to get louder, and Tamlin says, "Yeah, but I want to show you something better." And my note was like, dude, they are so going to fuck. They didn't fuck, but
no, they just tongue punch each other for a while. in the mouth, not anywhere else. They kiss a lot, and they kiss hard.
Yeah, and then he kind of like edges her.
Oh yeah, she loves edging more than you do, I think.
Probably
yeah,
not.
True. For audio listeners, Zach just gave like the scrunched up. Nah, not a chance look. True, actually, you're right. You're right.
And then they watch the sunrise, and it's cute. It's every other chapter in this book so far.
Yeah, and see, I think this was really when the fatigue started to hit me of like, boy, these like darling, sweet, magical, romantic moments are like totally fine. I don't have anything against them inherently, but it's like,
yeah,
they happen a little too often for me.
Yeah, like it's interesting because it's like if and this is like I don't mean this as like a slight because there are different styles of writing, and that's totally fine. There's a space for all of that. I've never read like romance before, but I just can't help but think. Well, I was gonna say like I just can't help but think like if you're reading just strictly a romance that doesn't have some bigger massive plot, like is it just like that the whole time? Maybe or is there like are there breaks in that have to do with like tension or like fighting the romance, things like that. But in this situation, I just can't help but think like the fantasy part of this is like way more interesting. And and like I want there to be the romance. Like I do enjoy it. But like, can we space it out a little bit?
Yeah, I'm like believe it or not, I am like the biggest sucker ever for romance. And I'm just like, It's just like I said, it's a little too easy and too perfect and too magical. And like I think you alluded to earlier, it's like, where's the sense of urgency for the shit that's kind of going on behind the scenes?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Not
and you
not only
mentioned
that,
the
but
massive
also,
real quick, you mentioned the massive plot. And since you said that, all I can think about is how badly Tamlin wants to show her his massive plot.
This is the overarching plot, is what he says.
Oh, it's arching.
Key on the arching.
Yeah, it is arching. What were you saying? Sorry.
No, yeah, he like I guess what is I don't know what I was saying. I can't remember.
Okay, yeah, I had to interrupt you with my massive plot joke.
Yeah.
The thing at the end of this chapter that she says that I did find genuinely very sweet, because I took note of this when she first had this conversation with her father, where she says, "My father once told me that I should let my sisters imagine a better life, a better world." And he even says something, I think, about like having hope. And I told him there was no such thing. And then she says, "I never understood because I couldn't believe that it was even possible until now." And it's like, oh, that's very sweet. It's a good callback to, how kind of pessimistic she was about life at the beginning, and how
Right.
she's come to appreciate this and see things differently. And that's fine and well and good. I'm not trying to like just dismiss this out of hand. It's a good moment. It's just, I think it's just like you said, I'm just way more interested in the other stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm not as invested in the romance stuff as I want to be,
I think this is what I was going to say, and I think that this would make the difference. Any amount of tension that we're getting between the two in their romance has to do with the bigger plot.
Yes, outside factors.
If there was something happening within their romance that was some tension, some strife, some like just something to break it up and not make it just this magical fairy tale every beat, there would be some interest there. There would be like, hey, I want to see this get resolved. I want to see them get into a fight or misunderstand each other's emotions. Like, I want that. Like, that's where it gets good, I think.
Or have to deal with their own, like, inner demons, with in regards to the relationship with each other. Yes. Yeah. No, you're exactly right. That's a good call out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're right. It's all the outside factors are like the only
so
like,
so every
conflict.
time that comes up, it's like, okay, well then just give me more of that.
Yeah. No,
like
true.
if that's what this is about, then just give me more of that. Yeah. So I guess
because like extremely briefly there was like, hey, he bit her while he was high on fairy magic, and there was almost a little bit of conflict, but secretly she loved it and they immediately apologized. So it's like, yeah, there's not much there to even grasp onto. So anyway, that's all I had for chapter 25. Yeah. You?
Yeah. Same here. Okay. We get some stuffs.
Dude. Thera is so horny for my guy at this point.
Oh, yeah. It's all those days and nights of edging, dude.
She is edged. She has an inner thought here about she's so desperate to have Tam bang her. She's like, I don't care if it's right here on the lunch table in front of Lucian. Like, I'd be totally fine with that. And I'm like, Jesus, Feyre.
Hell yeah, Feyre. You get you yours, girl.
She's like, do it in
Let
the dirty.
Lucian join. Why not?
Do it in the food. Lucian can watch. He can join. I don't care. Just put it in me right now.
I mean, if we're being honest, I'd probably be like the same way.
I don't know why they didn't just bang the night before. Because they had to save it.
It's all about the edging, dude.
Yeah, it's the edging. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. What happens next, Zach?
I do love that Tam and Feyre being all lovey-dovey makes Lucian super uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm gonna just get the fuck out of here.
He's just dipping constantly. Yeah, it's great.
But he does say
he has bad news. Yeah.
Yes, he says, my contact at the Winter Court managed to get a letter to me. 24 of their younglings, the blight has burned through their magic and burned through their minds. The blight is hitting everywhere hard, but for some reason, the Night Court is unscathed.
Yeah, not the Night Court. Interesting.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The house goes silent and Tamlin tells Lucian to get Feyre to the window. Immediately, the situation has changed.
Yeah.
And I think it's very cool that Tamlin's like, hey, I gotta fucking put on a show here. It's very much like I wasn't doing anything. Huh? What? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because he's like,
Except
go.
He didn't think to clear the third place setting.
Right,
Tam.
exactly.
Rookie move.
He sits there and acts like he's just picking his nails.
Yeah.
And we get the Fae, the very beautiful Fae.
Yeah.
That saved Feyre.
Mm-hmm. On the night
during
of the fire festival.
During the Fire Night festival thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, what do you want, Rysand?
Is that how they pronounced it?
Rysand.
Oh, are you not listening anymore?
No, I am. I just can't remember.
Rysand or Rysand maybe. John Rhys Davies maybe. Yeah. Should we go with Rhys? Rice?
They do call him Rhys. I remember that.
Okay, Rhys. Rhysand? Rhysand? He says
No,
only his
Rhys.
enemies call him his full name. Then they start calling him just Rhys. Or Rice. Which was it?
Rhys is what they call him.
Okay. John Rhys Davies. He's Gimli. And Treebeard.
Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
Very particularly, he says he hasn't seen them in 49 years. A lot kind of happened around that 49, 50 years ago time frame. Also, he's like, hey, did you like that head I sent you? They're like, you fucker.
You fucking dick.
And then they're just like, they keep calling him Amarantha's whore. So we get the shadowy she that has been mystery in the background this entire time is named Amarantha.
Amarantha.
There's definitely something like Rhys and Tam were former, I don't know if maybe friends is fully the right word, but they knew each other. They were comrades in arms, maybe, because he tells Lucian that he is the one that taught Tam the finer aspects of swords and females. So kind of mentor, buddies, comrades of some kind, for sure, in the past. But Tam's just like, hey, get out. I'm going to see you soon enough anyway. Which is interesting.
And I'm sure that there's more dialogue between this and that, but Rice.
Let's go with Rhys.
Fried eggs over rice.
True.
He does say she's already preparing for you.
Yes.
This is a quote. She's already preparing for you given your current state. I think I can safely report that you're already broken and will reconsider the offer.
Yeah. Yeah. I think by the end of this chapter, I agree with him. I think Tam is broken.
Yes.
And I didn't love it. Rhys notices the third plate and he finds Feyre, basically. Lucian tries to lie and say that it's his betrothed.
Right.
And Lucian is kind of trying to protect her. Good for Lucian. But Rhys warns him that if Lucian attacks him, he will make the Autumn Court bleed, especially its lady, which is Lucian's
mother.
Right.
Yeah,
he also says
quote goes pretty fucking hard.
Yeah, because doesn't he basically he says something to Lucian about the effect of oh, your mother would basically be ashamed to see how far you've fallen or something like that.
Yeah, well, when he realizes that she's a human. that
right,
his betrothed
yes.
is a human.
Right. Then this was very interesting. Rhys tells Feyre that he's surprised that she's not running from here and these people. And then when she looks like she doesn't know what he's talking about, he just laughs at it and is like, "Oh, you haven't told her. She doesn't know." So I don't know if that's just implying the blight is coming and they're all fucked, or something else.
I think it surely it means something else.
That was my leaning as well. Then he does some magic shit on her and reads her mind, and basically all he's finding out is how badly that she wants to have Tam just wreck her. That's all she's thinking about.
Dude, she wants you to plow that house down.
She's like, hey, remember when that fairy told you not to be gentle? I don't want you to be gentle either.
I've decided.
I've decided. Shit.
It's just so funny. Like, I think what is happening is he's obviously not reading her surface thoughts. But I just think it's a funny way to insert, it seems like the stakes have just gotten higher and shit's about to pop off, and then he's like, dude, she wants to fuck you so bad.
That's right. It's you're not wrong. You're not wrong. And then I didn't understand this. Rhys, I think this is Rhys telling Tam, if it's any consolation, she would have been the one for you, and you might have gotten away with it. A bit late, though, she's more stubborn than you are. So
you might have gotten away with it if it wasn't for these meddling kids.
Yeah. Anytime anyone says you might have gotten away with it, that's the only thing that comes to mind.
I always think.
So, is he just saying, hey, yeah, she legit loves you and you guys could have been a hot ass couple together, but you're not getting away with this. It's too late. I guess is what he's saying there. Yeah, I was a little confused by that. That might be it. And then he says Amarantha will enjoy breaking her almost as much as she'll enjoy watching you as she shatters her bit by bit. That's some fucked up shit.
This takes a good turn, and I am so intrigued by the ending of this chapter.
Okay, what specifically?
Well, just he's come in here flaunting himself and his power, right? And obviously our scope on what powerful is Tamlin is the top, right? That's all we've seen. And this is common, this is normal in storytelling. There's always a bigger fish. You're gonna have them come in when we're feeling nice and comfortable with how powerful, our protagonist is. But it's more than just that this guy's powerful. Tamlin gets on his knees and begs.
Yeah.
Please what? Don't tell Amarantha about her. Beg and I'll consider not telling her. And he literally
immediately
begs.
Does.
Immediately.
No questions asked.
And then Fried Eggs Over Rice looks over at Lucian and is like, "You too, bucko."
Yeah. I think that's word for word, actually.
Yeah, dude.
You too, bucko.
And quote. And it's just, I just think it's interesting because it adds a lot of it adds so much unknown to the story, and that's what keeps it moving for me.
So you liked this?
I did like this. I mean, did I like that it? Did I like seeing characters that I like beg like that? Kind of get with their tail between their legs? No.
Sure.
Because I like these characters.
Yeah.
But I think that this is a good showing of like shit's really bad, and like everything that
Right.
we thought about their situation, it's 10 times worse.
Right. The way this ends, after he makes them beg, Reese says, "Well, this was entertaining, the most fun I've had in ages, actually. I'm looking forward to seeing you three," so Lucian, Tamlin, and Feyre, "under the mountain. I'll give Amarantha your regards." So I liked a lot of this. I liked that we're learning more about the Amarantha thing. Getting this. Oh, Reese. I don't know if we mentioned this. Reese is the High Lord of the Night Court.
Oh, yes.
Which is obviously big news. I like that we're learning stuff about that. I like that they have a history together. And I understand the storytelling, but this is getting both Rice and Amarantha by extension over in like wrestling parlance. Like, this is getting them over. This is showing how powerful they are, and like the stakes, basically really showing the stakes, the scope of the power here.
Right.
What I didn't like was how easily Tam just kind of gave up. Like, I understand that he's trying to do the intelligent thing, and like, it seems like he kind of knows he has no other choice, and is doing what he thinks is best by begging and pleading and humbling himself. But there's also a point where like Reese is just like a brush away from killing Feyre, and Tam just does not move. And at some point, to me, no matter how hopeless, if you care about this person, Tam, you gotta put your cards on the table. You gotta go all in. I kind of feel like he gave up too easily. And I understand that I think what they're really trying to get across is just how seriously outmatched and how fucked like they are with the blight and missing their magic.
I don't think it's necessarily that. I think it's partly that, but I also think it's partly like I think what is trying to be conveyed is half that, but half he is so deeply in love with Feyre that he immediately will turn to begging to keep her safe. Now, should he have like physically reacted to Reese, like, like coming at Feyre like that? Probably yes. But the begging aspect, I feel like it's just like whatever I have to do to make sure that she'll be safe.
Sure.
Is how I read that.
And I get that, and I can appreciate that. I still feel like he kind of gave up a little bit too easily.
I don't think that's incorrect. I think I was just maybe more willing to accept it.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of torn on that, because like I said, I'm glad we're getting more intrigue, more characters for sure. That was one of my big complaints through this section, is like, we need more fucking characters. Like, there's there's literally 3 characters in all of these chapters.
Yep.
We can talk about that more a little bit later. Did you have anything else for chapter 26?
No. Lot revealed there, and then we got 2.
Then we get the sex chapter.
Yeah, we get 2 shorties.
Yes.
So chapter 27. I feel like a giddy little like middle school kid,
man.
dude.
Tam rages and tears up the dining room for a while. Then he comes up and tears up Feyre.
He tears up the dining room.
He tears up that bedroom after he's done with the dining room.
Yeah, so he comes upstairs and he apologizes.
Yeah.
He does tell her, "You're going home. I'm sending you
Yeah.
home." He tells her that he will take on her life debt.
Right.
She obviously doesn't want to leave. She wants to stay with him. He insists, but she does question him and say, "I thought you said there were no loopholes."
Right.
And he says, "Well, who's going to fucking stop me, basically?"
Right. He's basically like, this isn't a loophole. I just like,
I'm
shut
going to
up.
do it.
I'm going to do it. I don't care. Come at me, bro.
And yeah, and then they'll which it's just so interesting that he kind of takes that like almost like a, well, if they have a problem with it, then they'll have to come to me about it.
That's what I'm saying. Like here, he's all tough guy. Like I'll deal with it.
Well, he's tough guy because he's in her bedroom, my boy.
True. He's like, I don't care what they say. I'm going to do it and I'll deal with the consequences. And 5 minutes earlier, he was like, please don't make me deal with the consequences.
He's like, please.
Please call my mommy.
So look, he insists. She is not happy about it, but she's happy enough to just start kissing him.
Yeah.
And pushes him on the bed.
Arguments turn into hot, sexy times, as they do. You know, passions run high.
Sure. I have a quote.
Okay, I can't wait for this.
It's very short, but I was like, this is it.
Give me it.
She says, "Give me everything," she breathed.
Yeah, she does.
He lunged, a beast freed of its tether.
Wait, there wasn't no sweaty beast in there? You sure? I'm pretty sure it was sweaty.
She didn't say sweaty. But yeah, I was like, okay, they're going in.
Oh yeah. Several times.
Yeah, and you guys can get the rest of this conversation on our OnlyFans.
Doesn't make sense. A cheeky line here towards the end of this chapter that I did get because I liked. This is after they've banged multiple times. He gets up to leave, and she's like, "No, stay." And he's like, "If I stay, you won't get any sleep." She says, "Stay. I promise to keep my hands to myself." And then her inner dialogue, lie. Such an outright lie. And I'm like, I appreciate the fact that she knows. Like, I ain't keeping my hands to shit. I genuinely love that. I'm like, that's great self-awareness from Feyre. Just saying
yes,
whatever she has to get him to stay at this moment, and I love that.
Yep.
That's
guys,
pretty much all I had.
This is our first sex chapter in what we were told is a very spicy series.
27 whole chapters in.
And we have had many of y'all reach out saying, hey, the first book actually doesn't have a whole lot, and there's a lot more in other books, which is very interesting to me. Just so interesting.
From a purely like, study perspective, like,
yes, absolutely.
For like
purely academic.
Academic. Thank you. I couldn't think of the word I was looking for. Academic perspective. No reason whatsoever.
It was pretty good. I'm gonna be honest. Like, that was a good sex chapter. Sex scene.
It was steamy.
It was pretty steamy. I was
getting a little
I
sweaty.
Want Tamlin to do that to me. Yep.
I was like, oh, this is
pretty nice.
The sweatiness they were talking about. I'm a little sweaty over here.
Yep.
It was solid.
Yes, it was solid. It was solid. And I know, look, before y'all fucking run to Instagram, run to the YouTube comments, I know it probably gets so much better, and this ain't shit, and we haven't seen shit. But guys, we've never read anything like this. That was pretty good. That was pretty solid. Pretty solid.
All I've got to say is, edge me more, daddy.
That was pretty solid, and so am I.
And so was I.
Cool.
Anything more from our sexy time chapter?
Oh, actually, we had a. I can't remember if this was an Instagram DM or if it was in the Discord. But somebody said that on the Patreon, you and I should do a dramatic reading of some of the sexy.
Oh my God. I think you did tell me that. That's very funny.
It's so funny, and I'm
That
very
would be-
tempted to do that.
Yeah, that would be pretty good.
We would never get through it, but it would be great.
Not without coming everywhere.
Yeah, dude, not without fucking everywhere. Okay, let's fucking wrap this up.
Let's finish this up. Chapter 28, also pretty short. A sweet goodbye between her and Alice. She tells Alice, I hope you get to be with your nephews again soon. And Alice tells her,
Right.
Make the most of your freedom. Which is very sweet. I like Alice a lot, as everyone knows. Another cheeky little exchange between her and Lucian as they part. Because
He talks
Alice
some
dressed
shit
her up,
about fashion.
yeah, in some weird ass human noble outfit. And Lucian says, those clothes are enough to convince me I never want to enter the human realm. And she comes back with, I'm not sure the human realm would know what to do with you. Which is pretty good. But Lucian is mad at Tam.
Yes,
He's
I
like-
like that. I took note of this.
Yes. He's like, hey, you should give her a few more days. Before, he says specifically, before sending her back to that human cesspit.
Ugh, fucking asshole.
Yeah, Jesus. But I like that Lucian like stood up for her and them here. And Tam is like, no, it's not up for discussion.
Oh,
That's it.
wait, whoa. We forgot to say what happened at the end of 27.
Oh, did we?
Tamlin says, I love you, Thorns and
right.
all.
Thorns and all. Yeah. I think I
That's a
assumed you
good
would have.
quote.
It's a pretty good quote. Yeah, because she does the pouty thing where she's like, oh, you're sending me away because you don't actually love me. I'm thorny and sour and all this
Right.
shit. And yeah, he then says, I love you, Thorns and all. Yeah.
I love you,
True.
Thorns and all.
True. Good call out.
Okay, sorry.
I'm sure we would have gotten absolutely roasted if we had missed that. So yeah, Tam is like, hey, it's not up for discussion. She's going. She gives him all her paintings, and he specifically tells her he will see her again, and he says it again that he loves her. But she cannot bring herself to say it back to him because she's mortal and she doesn't want to like break his heart, I guess, or something. Yeah, it's very sad and, bittersweet farewell here.
Mm-hmm.
I did not expect this, I have to say. I did not expect we were going to get to see her go back to the human realm anytime soon.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm actually this might be for after this, but I'll say it now. I'm actually kind of happy that it's happening.
It's a change up.
Yes. You said this already. We've said this several times, but like we just need more characters.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I was pretty not into any of her family, and I'm wondering what that's going to feel like getting back. Like,
yeah.
So
because Nesta is already acting like Nesta, but she seems like very more even suspicious.
It seems like she knows something.
She knows something, or she just is like something else is going on here.
Right.
Yeah, she gets back. The family has a mansion now. Tam has made them super rich. But Feyre does not feel great about any of this. She feels, I feel like, super guilty. Like, she's like, Tam did all this for me and my family, and I don't really feel like I deserve any of this, and now I have to leave him. And she's not feeling great. They don't even recognize her, by the way.
Yeah. No, like she has to be like, hello.
Hello,
it's
I'm
me.
your sister.
And Elaine is like super hype and, oh my God, you're here. We missed you. What happened to I can't remember the name of the fake aunt that she's supposed to be taking care of.
Yeah, it was weird. I remember the fake aunt's name was, I was like, that's a weird name.
Yeah, fuck, I can't remember it now. And Nessa is just like
suspicious.
hawk eyes, dude. Like,
yeah.
the fuck is going on?
Maybe she can see through.
You didn't get any of our
glamours.
letters. You don't know anything about anything.
No letters. Where'd you get this carriage and these 6 white horses? And does that dude have pointy ears? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like Nesta knows something is amiss.
She knows something.
She knows something.
Part of me wonders if she's been mixed up in something.
Maybe she has. The last thing I have here is, I did like this quote. This is Feyre. I had to stay. It was wise to stay here, but I couldn't fight the sensation like a darkening shadow within me that I'd made a very, very big mistake in leaving no matter Tamlin's orders. Stay with the Hide Lord, the Suriel had said. It's only command. And I was like, I'm glad that she's bringing that back up, because that was when Tam was making the big deal about her leaving and her not wanting to and everything. I was like, that's the one thing that I kept thinking back to, was like, the Suriel specifically told her, stay with the High Lord, he will keep you safe. And then he instantly was not able to keep her safe from Rhys. So maybe the Suriel doesn't know shit. But I thought about that, and I'm glad she reflected on it as well. So.
Hell yeah.
That's all I had.
This
is going long again. Holy shit.
That's all I had. Well, hey, I mean, we did talk for, I don't know, like 20 minutes prior to on the Patreon bit.
That's true. But we haven't even done our last thing here. Did you have any other? I think we gave a lot of our final thoughts kind of sprinkled throughout. I did not expect her going back to the mortal realm this soon, but I am glad. I'm glad we're getting more movement. This section did drag for me a little bit, but we talked about all the reasons why. I'm not like mad or checked out completely. It's just this section I didn't care for it as much as the first two.
Yeah, for a section that seemingly is giving us higher stakes, I've become somewhat more disengaged. Yeah. Which is kind of weird for that to happen. I do want to echo what you said. Definitely don't feel like I'm falling off or anything like that. I am still interested.
The last couple chapters kind of got me back in. Like, I had problems here and there, but they got me back in.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to kind of what transpires with. I'm really looking forward to the interaction between her and Nesta.
Yes.
I think that we'll get some like rich stuff there.
Here's what I think is going to happen for sure.
Okay.
I think they're for sure going to be, I can't remember if it was Lucian at some point. Something was mentioned somewhere about like agents, if you will, or spies of Amarantha, possibly coming into the mortal realm. So I think for sure, like, that's going to happen. Like, fairies will come to attack her and her family or something to that effect. Or maybe just like human agents of the fairies. Do you remember in the first episode when we theorized about the mercenary woman? Like, does she have like a dark, kind of like motive underneath it all? Maybe we'll get the return of her, and she is
interesting.
A baddie.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm along the same like lines as you. I definitely think there will be some sort of like fae interaction in the mortal realm. And I wouldn't be surprised if Tamlin was keeping tabs on her through someone else, like through spies of his own. So it'll probably come down to like some shit pops off and then like he swoops in to save the day at the last second or something like that, which is...
See, I don't think that could be how it goes, but my theory is more along the lines of, because Rhys said specifically, I'll see the three of you under the mountain. I think that he will want to keep to that. So Tam and Lucian will think, hey, we got rid of her. You know, she's out of there, out of harm's reach. We're going to go under the mountain. Meanwhile,
Rhys comes and
capture her and bring her under the mountain as well. Because that's what he said. He's like, I'll see you three under the mountain. And I think he's going to make that happen whether they want it to or not. That's what I see playing out.
Interesting. Okay. That's a great prediction.
Thank you. I just thought of it right this second.
I mean, no, that's solid. Yeah. I like that quite a bit.
That's where I think we're going to end up. And then I expect the under the mountain stuff will be more or less the climax of the book, where we meet Amarantha and who knows what happens. But that's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Anything else before we move on here, Zach?
Nope. I think we're good. Let's do our Who Be Courtin'.
It's time for Who Be Courtin'. Where we last left off, our guy Tamlin had taken the number 1 spot, followed by Feyre, Lucian, the Surreal, forgot about that, and Alice at 5. This might be a little difficult to even find 5 people, Zach.
Yeah, or like it almost even just feels difficult. Like I didn't love some people in this batch, but they're still gonna make it on because they're the only characters in.
There's literally the only characters. So I kind of feel like I'm just erasing everyone here now. I kind of feel like if we're gonna take into account like who is making moves in position of power as we did with the Who Be Thrown In, I kind of feel like Rhys should be number 1.
Well, and so not just because of that, but also because I think he's the only thing that's brought like major interest.
Right. He
this
moved
batch
the
of
plot
chapters
along
also
more than anything too.
So yes, I agree. I was going to suggest Rhys.
Should we give him his full name or just Rhys? We'll give him his full name. Rhysand.
Rhysand.
Like, she hasn't been formally introduced. Do we want to consider her Amarantha or no? We just like heard tell of her.
I feel like
I think so. I agree. Who were you thinking after that? Because
So I will like I know you had your issues with Tamlin, like in the way he gave up there at the end.
Yeah, I did.
But I do think that Tamlin is really the only other major source of like interest for me.
Yeah, and he's trying.
At this stage.
He's like trying to keep her safe.
Yeah, he also fucking gave it to her, dude.
He gave it to some random fairy chick and to Feyre. So you know what? You're right.
To Feyre.
My guy is winning. I'll shake to that. I did have problems, but I still think you're right. Tamlin goes to 2.
Okay.
I mean, Feyre got her some very good loving. So does she go? She 3?
Got to go hang out with the sweaty fiddler diddler.
The fiddler diddler.
Yeah,
so
I think
good.
I think she goes 3, and then it's.
She was a petulant child for a bit though, but she always kind of snaps out of it pretty quickly. To be fair,
she does. And then I think it's Lucian then Alice.
Alice is like barely present.
We could also go Lucian Nesta. I'm
also
immediately
barely present,
interested.
but I kind of am too. I kind of agree with you. I like Alice a lot, but she was like, she barely did anything. And
yeah,
honestly,
I was just thinking of like the little bit more backstory we get from her, and then like how she kind of like is helping Feyre. I did enjoy that bit.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
I feel like Lucian stood up to Rhys more than Tamlin did. And I kind of feel like
Lucian didn't fuck. Like fuck, though.
Lucian, no, hold on. We didn't talk about it, but he did fuck that night. They mentioned something about that. Because he was like, Lucian was like, oh, I was on patrol. And Tamlin was like, oh, you had company, bitch, on your patrol. And Lucian's like, yeah, I did. And he stood up and tried to protect Feyre way more than Tamlin did, I feel like. Also, he stood up and was like, hey, you should let her stay. At least for a little bit.
So do you want Lucian above Tamlin?
I think I want to move Tamlin and Feyre down 1 each and put Lucian at 2.
I understand your reasoning. I just disagree.
I also love Lucian.
I know you do. I guess what I'm saying is that like that aside, like Lucian just wasn't interesting.
I mean,
well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, he's fine. Just like every time we get conversations with Tamlin and Feyre about like his parents or about the happenings of the world, I consider that a win on Tamlin. Like he's bringing the interest in the plot in those moments.
Yeah.
So for that reason, I
don't disagree, and I see what you're saying. I can't get over my hang-ups about the Tamlin thing. Can we put...
No, you're right. You're right. I just remembered Tamlin is Bryce. Gaslighting.
Tamlin is Bryce!
Just gaslighting fuckbag during that chapter, and I hated that.
True, you hated that.
I really did not like that.
Should we put him on here as Bryce?
No.
Does Feyre go above Tamlin then, or still Tamlin then Feyre?
Yes.
Oh, so Feyre Tamlin.
Yes.
Okay. Wow, you really didn't like that gaslighting.
I really
Bryce.
don't like that.
Gaslighting Bryce. No, I'm just kidding. Tamlin. And then 4th or 5th is Alice or Nesta. I kind of with you.
I kind of like Nesta.
Once we started talking about it, I was way more into that idea. So I'm with you.
Okay.
All right. Nesta.
Let's run with that.
Okay. There was only 6 characters in these chapters, so we have 5 of them on this list. From bottom up, that is our Who Be Courtin' list. 5th place is Nesta. We're very intrigued at her suspicion. 4th place, that gaslighting Bryce Tamlin. 3rd place, Feyre. 2nd place, Lucian. And Rysand. We're definitely probably mispronouncing that at first. And that is this week's edition of Who Be Courting. Are we done? Is anything else, Zach?
I think poll of the week.
Oh, shit.
Let us know down in the comments how many Bryces you think were listening to today's episode. And
how many Bryces?
For any of the casuals who stumble upon the video or the Instagram post, do not put context. Like, just put a number. Just put like
a number?
34.
Okay.
Or 7. Or none.
Okay. 37. All right. That's going to do us for us here at Mythkeepers. For my co-host, Zach, I am Scott. Thank you so much for joining us. Check us out on all the socials, all the stuff. We already did it. Patreon, mythkeepers.com. mythkeeperspod.com. It's literally right there. I could just look at it. And we'll see you next time for chapters. What chapters are we doing?
29 through 38.
29 through 38. Read through chapter 38, and we'll have a great time. And we'll see you when we see you.
Does that make sense?
Shit. Yes, that makes sense. That's 10 chapters. 29 through 38. Yes. I think.
So then our last... Whatever. We'll talk about it later. 29 through 38 is what we're doing next.
29 through 38. We'll see you when we see you.
Bye-bye.